All right. We're going to start a new drawing today. Let me get TikTok going. Okie doke. Here we go. We're going to start a new drawing today. Let me dock that chat. Had problems with the chat last time. Okay, so new day, new drawing. What's going on, Santos, Mix Eclipse, Maria? Today we're going to start drawing my wife. So we finished my father's picture last live stream. So if you didn't see that, go back and check that out. Promise, how you doing? Arban, what's going on? Ralph Shipman, what's up? Louis or Lewis? Welcome, 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 welcome. Zarshada, hope I said that right. So we're using a little bit different tools today because we're using a different medium. Last drawing was all charcoal. This one is going to be graphite. I don't think I'm going to be using any eraser today, but we're going to use a regular eraser. This is graphite. A little bit different. Well, actually, it's a lot different from charcoal. And then we use this to keep your graphite sharp. I'm going to start using a 2B block. And this is a completely different style from the last drawing that I did. So if you watch my last live, this one's going to be completely different application. What's going on? Cordy Cave, ICV, Peter Leon, Fernando Ramirez, Pat. So yeah, so we're going to get right started. There's going to be no outlining like I did in the last live. It's just, like I said, it's going to be a completely different style of drawing. Graphite is a different medium. I love using different mediums. So yeah, so I spent a lot of time doing charcoal. When I started charcoal, I started out drawing the eye, then I did the nose, then I did the other eye, then I came down and I did, we're not doing any of that this time. This time it's a completely different style. What's going on, George? DJ. All right, so let's get this. We're still going to use the rag. That's just what I do. And this is going to be a completely different application, mood, feel. Everything about this is different. What's up, Bruce? Lanzy, how you guys doing? I don't need any of this to be smooth yet. Not worried about anything being smooth yet. We're gonna do use my straight to the darks. I have a reference. You guys can't really see it. I gotta figure that out. Hope you guys see what we're doing, but I'm not doing any shaping or anything yet. I'm just gonna be working on the outer outline. Everything I'm doing is going to be way different than you guys see me do last time. And as I dig in, it'll start to come into fruition. But I'm not spending any time on any detail. As I told you guys last time, detail usually comes last. It's definitely going to come last on this one because it's just going to be different. So if you saw my last drawing, thank you for coming back. If you didn't, like I said, you can go back and look, but this is going to be way, way, way different. What's going on, Ron, Victoria, Mikey, Ashley, sorry. So we're going to be going in and just putting in shading where we're going to need it, but there's no application to it yet. Just literally trying to get all of the shading in the right areas without focusing on any detail. I just know where it's going to be dark because I have a reference. I got to figure out how to get you guys to see my reference. And then it'll start coming into form later. But like I said, all I'm doing is getting my shading where it's supposed to be. And that's it. If you guys can share and like, I know that there's nothing to like yet, but I think you'll like where we go with it. I may have to pull that down so these clips don't get in the way. And I'm not focusing on any proportions, anything like that yet. Like I said, you'll be able to see some kind of formations happening, but that's not really the focus right now. Like I said, this is a completely different style than I did the last one. So it's going to take a little bit before you see what I see, or the intentions. But like I said, as it forms, I think you'll enjoy this. And if you're an artist, it's just a different approach. So all I'm doing is getting the darks where I want them. I'm completely eyeballing. I'm not using any. I never use the grid. But for me, this is I love finding my contrasts. And see, I'm forming my own grid kind of in a way by eyeballing it, but once everything's where I want it, I'm going to start forming my own contours. And again, this is about to be my wife. There's no I wonder if I can, let me see something. I might be able to pull up the reference for you. Let me see. Okay, so this is the, all right, so this is actually gonna be the drawing. You can't see it yet. It's not very good. But this is what I'm going to be drawing. This is the reference. Just so you guys know, that's what we're working on right now. And this is going to be a constant push and pull with my lights and my darks. You're probably more likely, if you come back, to be able to see exactly what I was doing. But like I said, today there's not going to be hardly any detail. Hopefully there will be enough form that you'll start to understand what I was doing. What's going on? Mark, Javanta, Matt, Stefan, Janisa, Dilly, M.A., Fifi, Anthony Smalls, Adrian, Macias. I think that's Macias. I think that's right. This is graphite that we're using. And like I said, the only application that's similar, well, that I use that's similar, is what I'm doing right now to charcoal. Otherwise, the application is going to be completely different. This is how I used to draw. I haven't done this style in a long time. I just felt like doing it this way. I decided yesterday, or my last live stream, when I was doing my I was finishing up my father's drawing, the charcoal drawing. I decided that I wanted to do this one like this, just because it's different, like I said, and it shows a different technique that I think people could find useful. So if you've been here before, you're probably like, this is not how you did the last drawing. but this is definitely going to. It's still me. It's still my yeah. It's still my work. We're gonna keep going. Nah, it won't be ghostly. This is actually gonna be a very elegant. It's more of a. It's gonna be more of a. I don't know how to explain it. It's more like a sculpture. It's gonna come out. Or what I'm doing is more like sculpting instead of um, regular traditional drawing. But all I'm doing is I'm blurring my eyes or squinting my eyes, and I am seeing just the darks where they need to be. I'm not focusing on any detail really. Any. Alexis, redo. What's going on? How you guys doing? But again, this is all obviously no grid. You've seen I started with no. I started with no grids. But if you squint, you can see all of your darks. I used to start off every drawing like this. Way back in the day. This is actually going to be graphite. So this is the talking about snack bar. He's envy charcoal art. My last one was charcoal. This one's actually graphite. I'm just using a graphite. See, my fingers are shiny. I'm just using a graphite bar. But this is the technique that you can start out definitely with charcoal. That's when I actually that's what I actually use this for most, this style most. I just felt like doing graphite and I wanted to do this. But thank you everybody for coming in. I know you don't know what I'm doing yet, but I think you'll enjoy this one. This is a new drawing, first day on this drawing. I just finished, I think it was 17 days drawing my father. 17, it wasn't 17 live streams on TikTok because I just came on TikTok. But it was 17 live streams. And because we're the TikTok limits you to 1 hour, it is my art hour. OSpeaks artwork hour. You probably see that this is where the eyes are going to be. I'm getting all the shading around. So again, last time I started out drawing just the outlines and going in. This time I'm doing the shades first, and then I'm going to sculpt out of the background. None of these lines really mean much yet. I'm not trying to get any details. I'm just trying to get where my darks are and where my lights are going to be. This whole side's going to be light. This is actually how I'm doing my own type of grid without actually having to draw those lines. This is just a regular rag from Walmart. I used this. I discovered this during my last drawing, using charcoal, and realized how really, 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 really good this is for smearing. She has pronounced cheekbones for sure. So I don't even really have to try it before that starts coming out. Because I'm really just trying to get my darks. My darkest darks and my lightest lights are going to be done right now. Before I do any kind of. Sorry, my phone just started going off. Before I do any kind of detail. My wife hasn't even seen this style of drawing that I've done yet. Because this I used to do back in college. I never really, every drawing I started out this way. It was just my preferred method. Oh, I may have to come down lower here. I just discovered. And this is how I'm going to get all of my proportions, all of my contrasts, all of my undertones, all of my light. Everything's going to come from doing this. I forgot how much I like doing this kind of beginning, this kind of start. So if you're an artist and you worry about contouring and getting your proportions, this is for me, outside of using a grid, because I hate using a grid, and I've always hated using a grid because I don't like erasing. I don't like erasing lines. I like erasing to my lights. For me, I've always found this to be the easiest way because it's kind of messy, so mistakes don't really matter. And you're going over it over and 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 over again. So you're getting all the correct values and tones. And as you do what I'm doing now, everything starts smoothing out and you get your entire drawing before you ever enter any details. And they'll just start forming on their own. You don't have to worry about, I'm going to put the eye over here. I'm going to put the ear. You don't have to line anything because you're strictly looking at the values you're strictly looking at all the contrasts. You're not looking at any kind of lines. When people start doing lines is when they start getting too focused on individual lines and individual features. And you walk away from it, you come back, and now you're using a completely different pressure on your pencil or in a charcoal, whatever you use, a pastel. But if you do it this way, everything is being done the exact same way. And then when you come back, you start putting in your details, you start erasing, you start handling all of that stuff. So I told you guys this was going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to keep going, layering. And like I said, it's all going to come out on its own. because there's contrasts, you know, obviously eyebrows are going to stand out, but the shape of them doesn't really matter because that's in the details. The eyes are going to show, they're going to start showing early, but there's zero detail. You just want to get it where it's supposed to be. And then you guys come back my next live, which will be what's today? Tuesday. If you come back Thursday, you're going to say, "Oh, I see what this person was doing." I'm literally just squinting my eyes and only worrying about where my shades are. I don't care about details. Like even this is off, so it doesn't matter because I'm going to do this. None of this stuff matters. The only thing that matters is getting the darks in the right spot, the lights in the right spot. Nancy, what's up? Shelly, Jeff, Idino, T-Stone, what's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I'm using graphite, if you're wondering. Get this in more. Do this. This will be easier. Devin, what's going on? There we go. I have a person that I know who's an artist. I know from YouTube. He's gonna see this and be like, "What is this guy doing now?" Because he thought my other technique was weird. He's really gonna be like, "I have no idea what you're doing right now," but he's the type who will go and try it and then understand it after the fact. Like I said, I'm just getting my darks where I need them, my lights where I need them, and then I'll worry about everything else. Get this back. May have to pull this down because she had her hair in a bun. And that's gonna obviously need to be formed. Definitely gonna need to be formed. So I'm gonna have to pull this down a little bit. Let's see how far down I can get. Let's do this. Probably won't get most of her hair because this is gonna be all covered here. Got 3 people watching on YouTube trying to figure out what I'm doing. It's a new drawing. I'm drawing my wife. Yeah, it's a different style. And even after this, I'm going to go back in with a regular, I think it's 2B. This block down here is, yeah, this one's 2B, which is a lighter shade. This is all dark for my dark, so I'm going to go back in and do the exact same thing with the lighter shades. And you'll start just seeing it start to form on its own because that's what the drawing will do. If you capture all the lights and all the darks, the drawing will form on its own. You won't have to spend time starting with detail. That's a big mistake. It's a huge mistake that people make, starting with details. And the only difference between 6B and 2B is 6B is much darker, much softer. 2B is very light. It's more like a number 2 pencil that you use when you're doing them old Scantrons. I don't even know if they do that anymore. When you're doing tests at school, the number 2 pencil, that's closer to the HB. Well, you could actually, as I'm looking at the sheet, it actually looks like I'm forming a skeleton, which is even cooler because that's what we all have up under us. I'm doing the surface first, and then we're going to be doing the details. Whoops. That's the sharpest contrast on the whole drawing. I think I'm a little high up here, but we'll see. We'll find out. The stakes don't really matter, but they can always be adjusted. And you gotta constantly look at your reference. I know I said that a lot during my charcoal drawing, but there's really nothing more important than constantly looking at the reference. Because nothing's gonna come out right. You should be looking at that way more than you're looking at your actual drawing. Way more. Because otherwise you're just more admiring your work and you're not really focused on the reference, which is what you're supposed to be trying to capture. What's up, Natasha? Lil X999, Maria, Remnant, Trace Space, Chris, JD, Black. Who was that? Black Irish. I thought you were somebody else. Sorry. Black Irish, what's up anyway? No offense. Miss Brittany, how you doing? Like I said, this is literally the entire process for the first part of the drawing. Hi. The drawing will start coming out as long as you're capturing the darks where they're supposed to be and the lights where they're supposed to be. The drawing will start coming out on its own before you do any detailing. You pink too much? How you doing? Well, if you didn't see the last live or the last, I guess, series, I don't know, last drawing, it was of my father. We're now doing my wife. you want to go catch those older live streams. The style was different, but the result's going to be very similar. This is going to be much, like I said, much more elegant. This will be much more elegant. Keep hitting like, please. Like I said, you may not see what I see yet, but you will. You will. I almost got caught up starting the details. I need to leave that alone and just focus on my contrasts. It's very easy to get caught up. Hello. You pink too much? What's up? We're using graphite this time, not charcoal. And this time we're starting with all the darks, all the shades and all the highs, all the lights. We're only focusing on that. Zero details until we get our contrasts right. And as we do that, the details will kind of start showing themselves. I'm going to switch to 2B, which is the other one that I had. What's up, everybody on YouTube? So 2B is actually lighter. So this is going to be good to catch all these undertones. These are the lighter ones. And then when I blend them, already dropped. When I blend them, they'll smoothen out. But smoothen out lighter. See that? How this one's smooth, it's smoothened out dark. 2B smoothens out much lighter. Here we go. And the other thing that I'm doing while I'm doing this is it's getting rid of all the, you can see all the choppiness. It's getting rid of all of that. Because I'm filling it all in with the different, with multiple different shades, grays. There's no black because it's graphite. So the darkest it's going to get is a really dark gray. And then I'm just going to pull all the lights out instead of the reverse. Last time I was pulling the darks out. This time I'm pulling the lights out. It doesn't look like on here, but it's not. So you see how the number 2, when I pull it up with the rag, it's lighter. We're filling all of this in. What's up, James? James Paris? James got Paris? And then as we continue, probably the next one is when people are going to come in and say, oh, wow, that looks good. This one, people are still like, yeah, I don't know what this crazy person is doing, but I know the process, so it doesn't bother me. I can't read that name. I don't know what that is. It looks like this though. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Probably the only thing right now obvious from what you guys can see, I don't know how dark it gets, Joe Biden, is the eyes. That's probably the only thing you guys can see so far. I can't see what you see because it's different on that end. But So I could have started this live after I had done a lot of this, but then you wouldn't have really been able to see the process. And then I don't think you guys would have been able to appreciate as we go further down exactly how we got where we're about to get. So the eyes found themselves. All I did was, like I said, split my eyes and keep using my darks. I'm switching back to the 6. Everything's gonna find itself. What's up, Carrie? Clint Eastwood? No, 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 no. This is we'll get there. But you see what you see, so there's nothing wrong with what you see. It's my job to make it come out. All I'm doing is getting just the lights and dark. That's it. And then as I start going in and out with my lights and my darks. But it's not anybody you guys know. It's my wife. So as it comes out, it'll yeah, that's it. It'll reveal itself. Right now, my job is only to capture lights and darks, not draw a person. I'm filling in blanks. I shouldn't have worked out yesterday. My arms are already killing me. This shouldn't be exercise at all. I don't need any of this one up here. What's up, Aaron? What's up, French fries? Nothing up here is really that dark. We'll go over here. It's coming out. Miss Lydia Haiti, how you doing? Thank you for liking the stream. I think one of the big issues, I won't say younger artists, I'll say newer artists or people who are actually trying, is a lack of patience. They want to get right to the details. They want to get right to um, filling in eyes, highlighting, tear ducts, all that kind of stuff, but they don't actually capture all the underneath stuff, which is what I'm doing first. And I've done it because it's a completely different technique to start out with. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. Um, but I think people need to take more time on these undertones and all these different shades because it's so much easier to go in. Now, if this were charcoal, well, no, I could do this with charcoal. Like I said, I used to do this style a lot, especially when I was in school. One of my old teachers loved when I used to do this because it's a cheat code. Well, I guess we still have to have the eye, but it's a cheat code for not having to do the grid and draw and draw and draw. It starts forming, like I said, on its own, and she really liked that. She really liked that because there's so many different ways to do that grid without doing the grid. I used to measure. I still do, depending on the style that I'm using. You can draw the eyeball, then you measure the distance here to here, and then you can start drawing the next eyeball. Then you do this, and that's a way to proportion it. Um, Too difficult. Not really too difficult. What's going on? What's that? Shares? I can't. Shiraz. What's going on, Shiraz? So yeah, I used to do that, and I still, like I said, depending on how I feel and the style of drawing that I'm gonna do, I still do all of that stuff. Then there's times where I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this, which is pencil, graphite, and it's a wash, so I can smear it so much easier. So I don't have to focus on any details. I'll start on them in the next live, but it's going to be more probably erasing. Thanks, user. I appreciate that. It will. It's going to look. It's not going to be. It's actually going to be very, very, very. It's actually going to be really elegant. It's not going to be ghostly, but I can definitely see what you're talking about for sure. Hello, Miss Nicole. How you doing? And then this drawing will definitely not take 18 lives like the last one. The last one was completely different. Completely different. This one will actually probably be pretty fast. We're only in we're 45 minutes in. I've got almost all my my lows in. Next live, I'll get all my highs in. And that's pretty crazy how fast this is coming along already. Already, yeah, this is crazy. All right, well. Like I said, my eyes are squinted this whole time. I'm not looking at it at all, like normally. I'm just squinting and only capturing the darkest areas and the lightest areas based on what I see now. There's a lot of light here, but I'm not going to get to that until the next live. But I am not looking at this with fully open eyes. It's all squinting. Correction, I've opened my eyes, but I'm just saying when I'm actually putting my graphite to paper, I'm not using my regular vision. I'm just using squinted eyes, blurred eyes, trying to find all where the darks need to be. That's it. Like I said, everything else is going to form on its own. Yeah, I'm going to be bringing a lot out here. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Switching back to the HB or 2B. So if you notice, you're seeing how smooth it is in here. You're seeing several different grays and highlights in here. And I haven't even started erasing or using my actual pencils yet. This is a complete complete opposite. I don't say opposite. This is a complete 180 from drawing the eye and then building out your grays from the eye. Drawing another eye, building out, drawing a nose, trying to figure out shading and all that. You're doing all the shading first. So then what you end up doing is drawing on top of the shading, which is, like I said, just a completely different approach. Because now all my undertones are in there. I don't have to recreate the undertones that I do here over here. I'm doing it all first. And like I said, it's just a different approach, but if you're a beginner, this is a good way to start out, in my opinion. Because it's a lot harder to go in and draw the outline of the eye, then do the eyelid, then do the, doing all that stuff it's a lot harder to do that. And then recreating it, and then recreating it, and keeping everything fully toned, I guess is the right word. I'm getting all those tones in first, and then I'm going to erase to get to where the other person would have to build to. It's sculpting. This is essentially sculpting. That's essentially what we're doing here, or what we're going to be doing. We're chipping away at the light, or we're chipping away in the dark areas, and then we're going to build on top. It's more like a clay sculpt. But I'm creating all the undertones, and it's going to be completely even throughout the entire drawing. That's the whole purpose of doing it this way. There's zero work after the fact, after the details. I'm still using a 2B. So I'm still trying to smoothen out all these tones, because you can still see where I didn't. What up, Island? Island Milligan. New drawing, man. Different drawing. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So I have a lot of tones. I mean, I'm really, 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 really satisfied with this. Really satisfied. I'm gonna go and fill the rest of this in just to make it even. Literally the only purpose of me doing it. This has nothing to do with the drawing. This is just the background. This is the drawing right here. This is just the background. This is not. There's no rhyme or reason for this other than to get it filled in before, not after. I'm really, 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 really happy with this. I haven't done this style in so long, so I really, 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 really like where I'm at already. And this is pretty fast. I normally draw really fast. That last one took 18 lives. Really, it was 17. I skipped 13. But the last one took 18 lives. My eyes are open now, just I'm not squinting anymore. but there was a lot of mistakes made, and I figured out what was going on. So I normally do draw very fast. I'm squinting again. This is going to be really cool because she had braids up in a bun, so I'm going to do a lot of detailing in the braids. You guys don't get my thumbnails. I haven't figured out thumbnails on TikTok yet, but I did an old Jada Pinkett, and she had braids at the time. I think it was from Set It Off. That's what this one's going to be. The braids are going to be very similar to those. My eyes are squinted again. Yes. I'm really, really, really happy with this. If we are like this, subscribe or follow whatever they do on TikTok, because I think you're going to be really, really, really fascinated by how this turns out. Come back for round two because this was just, again, this is all undertone. My eyes are open again. This is all undertones, zero, zero, zero detail. And you can kind of start, now that my eyes are open, you can kind of start seeing where the, let me find that, put it on my phone again, just so you guys can get an idea. You can kind of start seeing, I don't want to say the vision, you can kind of start seeing the drawing come out. If I can find it, of course I can't find it. That would be too easy to find it. Well, actually, I definitely don't want to do that. It's starting to form on its own, like I said, without any real or any detail at all. Actually, I haven't put any detail at all other than darks. That's it. I haven't even done my erasing for my lights yet. That's when everything starts coming out. That'll be in my next live on Thursday. So yeah, come back, please, and see the progress. I think you'll really, 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 especially for artists, I think you'll really be interested to see how this goes or where this goes. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much, and I appreciate everyone.